In September of 2022, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation was able to host a week-long live stream. We celebrated International Podcast Day and paid homage to women who rock the mic globally and to African American podcasters. So we started out this celebration with a global team of women who actually talk about podcasting while they are females. Riveting information, transparent information. And if you're not a female podcasting, we give you many, many reasons why you should want to be. And then we move into the African American, what it is like to be an African American and actually podcast. We cover subjects such as podcasting. It is a business, podcasting, media, and entrepreneurship, and podcasting. What does that have to do with self-development? You're going to hear from speakers such as Nagalia Desravines, Brother Bedford, Dr. Barrett Matthews, and from the Information Diva, Deborah Thorne. So this week, we are kicking off the recap of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversations Celebration 2022 International Podcast Day. I hope that you binge listen, you grab us each and every day as we present these 4 life-changing conversations. Thank you. I want to present my conversation with Finch. He is a speaker. He is an influencer. He is the host of the podcast Off the Fence with Finch. Catch our conversation over in video form over on YouTube. And again, that address, that link is over in the show notes. Enjoy and share out. Once again, here I am on mute. I'm so anxious to get started with this conversation. Welcome back, everybody. This is the final day of our celebration of women and African American podcasters. Today is the official day of International Podcast Day. I want to give a big shout out to Steve and Dave Lee. They're over on Facebook, on YouTube now, doing their thing. They have created a 15-hour stretch of information concerning podcasters around the globe. Why Dave and Stan? Steve, because they are the founders. They started this thing of International Podcast Day. And I don't know how your girl found out about what they were doing, came in an email or something a couple of years ago, and I've been on their trail ever since. So after you finish up over here, be sure to go on over to YouTube. You can actually put in, let me see, International Podcast Day 2022. It will take you right on over. You're talking about some really good information. But good information, I am not going to step back away from what has happened here, right here, during this fabulous segment. And I've been fangirling. I've been in tears after each segment because of the caliber of information that I've been able to impart to you. And the replay takes place today. Give me 12 o'clock today, and I will replay each and every segment. We kicked it off with women, the global mic, women behind their global mic. And you're talking about all in, going all in, doing their thing. We had a woman from Belgium, throughout the States, United States of America, and we were just very transparent. I'll say we, because I jumped in there on the conversation also. I am so grateful and proud to be a podcaster. As Dr. Emma Pendleton says, who would have thunk it? You know, who would have thunk it? I'm a little skinny kid from Rockford, Illinois. Who would have thunk that at 68 years old, yes, I would do something like this and be able to have conversations with people like today's guest. His name is Finch. So without further ado, what can I say? We are going to go to a commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to have a conversation with everyone's imaginary best friend. And his name is Finch. I'm so glad that he's here. Let me cut the music right now so that it doesn't mess anything up. And Thank you to my sponsors. I'm so grateful for them. So we're going to commercial break. Then we're going to come back and chop it up with Finch. Okay. Wow, I really can't thank my sponsors enough. It was a last minute thought and people jumped right on in and the rest is history. So thank you. And I will recap those sponsors later on. But in the meantime, let me bring to the stage, Ed, to the stream. Here we go, Finch.
Ooh. Hey. Y'all ready to party up in here, huh?
Up in here. Did you all catch that voice? That wonderful golden voice. Didn't it melt you like butter?
Is it golden?
And wait a minute. Don't fool around and be a guest on his show. Oh my goodness. I'm just saying. But I like to have a lot of fun. And thank you again for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. Such a pleasure.
My goodness. Your show is Off the Fence with Finch. And you are everyone's imaginary best friend, but you have a side of you that's all about self-development. You want to help people scale and climb over life's hurdles.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about life and you think about people, nobody escapes life without some form of adversity, no matter how small, no matter how large it is. Everybody doesn't carry the same quantity of adversity, but we all have faced it in our lives. And my life's goal, my life's mission is to help people hurdle over life's adversities. And I just want people to understand that just because things happen in your life doesn't mean they have to define your life. And you can get your ass off that fence that you're sitting on, because the fence is always a place of uncertainty. We're always unsure about life, our careers, our purpose, whatever it is, relationships, especially our money. So I go at Off the Fence is to help people get off that fence so they can live life on purpose and with purpose.
So life, careers, relationships, and our money. That seems to be the core thought coming from your podcast. When I look at you, Finch, I see a professor. I see a model. This man has some banging, throwing headshots. I see I see a DJ. I see someone who definitely is an influencer. But what happened in your life so that you decided, I'm carrying humanity in my bosom? You've really purposed yourself to make sure that you get people off the fence. And everybody doesn't care. People can say, I care about that subject. I care about you. I see you and your potential and you could do better, brother. But, I'm doing mine. I hope you get yours. I hope you get to the finish line. But you bring people to the finish line. Where did that all begin? Who is Finch?
Oh, well, see, the first answer to that question is that all you said, where did that start from? Louise Stiegel. That's my mother. My mother taught me at a very young age how to care about people. My mother was a politician. She carried us to Washington, D.C. every year for conferences, for meetings. She led the Tenants Association in our community, and she was the initiator of the government free cheese program that if you've ever been a part of that, you know how well that program has done. It has catapulted into the welfare program, and now, Medicaid, Medicare, whatever the case may be. But my mother was one of the first pioneers of that program. And I stood on the back of trucks handing out government cheese and other perishable items to a host of underserved community individuals. And that's kind of where I learned how to care about other people outside of yourself. And, as I've grown and developed as a man, as a person, I've learned so much about humanity, and I've learned so much about how people operate and our mindsets and, all the things that kind of make up who we are as people. And I've just dedicated my entire life to enhancing people's lives, enhancing their careers, their relationships, their finances, because I myself have been in all those categories, and people often think, when you are someone who motivates people, that you don't need motivation yourself. When you're someone who empowers others, you don't need empowering yourself. And that's the furthest from the truth. So, Finch is, you said it earlier in your introduction. I am everybody's imaginary best friend because I'm the person you can talk to, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to give you life's tools that are going to help you move from there. You still got to make the decision, but I'm going to provide you with the things that you need. And if I don't have it, I know somebody that does.
I mean, that is saying a mouthful. And if people, I encourage people, you have to subscribe to his podcast, Off the Fence with Finch, because you're funny, but you communicate. You have people that come on that really make you think. You make us think. So do you think that people, are we at a stage where we just want somebody just tell us any old thing and we don't have to think? Where are we at with that?
Well, here's the thing about that. There's a host of people are at that stage in life, and they've always been that way. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, it's no fault of your own, because from the time you were born, you was ingratiated into a system that wanted you to think like it thought. And so at some point in your life, you have to now outsource yourself from that system and be an independent thinker. And that's kind of where me and my team come in at. We're not here to change your way of thinking. We're not here to change you at all, unless that's what you desire. But if you desire change, our goal is to equip you with the tools that you need to get your ass off whatever fence you're sitting on in life. And I just believe as individuals, we have to make a conscious decision to no longer be willfully ignorant, because we've operated in the system. We was taught this way by our parents or our parents' parents, our grandparents. Whomever was in charge of teaching us life skills failed us. And so as grown men and women, you have to start making better decisions. I call it wise decisions. And the only way you make wise decisions is always being informed. You have to make informed decisions. And when you have information, and here's the thing about yourself, you are the only person that knows you. So, it's like, if you don't decide to change, then life is going to give you everything it's been giving you all these years.
Got you. Take control of what goes in and what goes out and what's around you. That's what I hear you say.
Absolutely.
Now we have access to so many different forms of media, and you are no stranger to media. I mean, radio, television, books, public speaking. You're always on a stage somewhere, always on the back of a truck. I mean, that took me on back. And thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom, because somebody had to start that, the same way. So she planted seeds, and now you are planting seeds, and who knows how far that's going, because you are in different forms of media. You're meeting people right where they are. Everybody's not going to listen to a podcast, but doggone it, they can pick up a book and they're going to find something about Finch, something that Finch has said, something that you've done, a quote. I have one here. Doing nothing changes absolutely nothing, but doing something changes everything.
Everything. Wow.
That's so true. Changes everything. You said that. Powerful.
Oh my goodness.
So people need to get quiet and think. They need to connect and get into arenas where people such as yourself are, so that they are given information, as we say, meat to chew on. We've had enough milk. We've had enough pop. We've had enough Kool-Aid. Let's get the meat of life, Finch, so that we can make these good decisions.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I hear you. I don't know. I don't even know what the next question really should be, because when I look at the caliber of guests that you've had on, I especially like the one with Terry Tucker. I didn't know what to expect, and that he intrigued me. Just the fact that he was a SWAT team hostage negotiator.
Yes.
I saw life applications just from his conversation. So you bring on people that enlarge our thinking, take us to neighborhoods where we never would have gone. So where do these ideas come from, Finch, when you are actually producing your podcast?
Well, I am grateful to have a a nice team of people who help with ideas. But oftentimes it could be something I'm scrolling on social media and I see people having conversation. I'd be like, because again, it always goes back to how we think. How you think is what you become. What you become is who you are essentially, and we're not representing ourselves well in society. And I'm not just talking about as Black people. I'm talking about as people, but especially as Black people. We're just not being a good representation of ourselves. And more importantly, we don't understand the potential we have to be great. We look at celebrities and people of affluence, athletes, and we think, oh, they have reached the pinnacle and I can never go there. And you may not ever become a professional athlete or entertainer or radio or podcast host, but you can be influential right in your community, right in your family, if you just apply the knowledge you have and also grow and learn. I have a saying, I believe that everyone that learns should grow. And everyone that grows should learn, because I just don't think you can have one without the other. I cannot grow as a person, as a man, unless I learn things that expands my mindset and puts me in a whole nother circle of influence. I cannot grow if I'm not learning, and I cannot learn if I'm not growing, because who wants to stay the same? That's just a question, ladies and gentlemen. Who wants to stay the same? You don't have to stay stuck in the quicksand that you've operated in probably most of your life. You can be something different no matter what age you are. Margot is proof of that. She started a whole new career at a later age. And if she had the mindset of saying, it's too late for me or I'm too old, she would have never done it. And she would have stayed on that fence. That's it.
That is so true. See, here we are with college level textbook information. Everybody better get that pen and paper out. I'm telling you, because that is something that I see you dive into more than one time, that it's never too late to realize your dreams. But I want to back it on back, because I heard something. I heard when you said we have to continue to learn. Finch, are we all role models, and are we all obligated to pass on what we learn?
I wouldn't say. Well, here's a short answer. No, we're not all role models, and all of us shouldn't aspire to be. But I think we all play a role. We all have a role to play, and I don't like people to feel obligated, because obligation breeds. It means I have to do it, and I'm not really doing it from a place of quality. I'm doing it out of obligation. I'm not doing it for no other reason. But when you learn something, I'm one of those people. When I learn something, I want to share it. But I have learned in my lifetime that not everybody wants the information that you have. And so you should not be overbearing and sharing. I see it so much on social media. You should do this and you should do that. And here's the thing. People are not. People are going to choose to do what they desire to do. And if they see you as someone that they can learn from, guess what they're going to do? And they have that desire to learn, they're going to learn from you. But you telling people what they should do or should not do is not going to make people do it. If that was the case, the whole world would be changed. So I don't believe everybody should be a role model or could be a role model or is a role model. I just believe we all have a role in life and in society. And in the people that you have a role in their life, whether you are the girlfriend, their husband, their wife, their counselor, their role. Some people may see you as a leader in their circle. But at the same time, don't feel obligated to lead people, because you have to have that desire to lead people. And you have to have the proper tools to lead, because leaders are people who have wisdom and people who understand how to be patient, how to exercise grace in certain scenarios, because oftentimes we want people to learn at a rapid pace. I've been guilty of that. You're like, you ain't getting this yet. No, they're not going to get it at your pace. They're going to get it at their pace. And so I believe we should just play the role that we've been given, and that's it. Don't try to be somebody's role model. Just operate in your role. That's it.
Play the role that you've been given. Yes, I like that. It leads me to something else that I read on your website. You believe that everyone has a purpose. And the journey to discovering and fulfilling that purpose can be one that places people in a state of uncertainty.
Mm.
Do you find, just in speaking with your guests and interacting with your audience, do you find that most of us are coming out of states of uncertainty, and then we go into another state because we're always evolving? Are we as people evolving, or are most of us on the fence? How crowded is that doggone fence?
It's hella people on that fence. You know, not everybody has discovered what their purpose is, but I do believe everybody has a purpose. Will everybody fulfill their purpose? Nope. They sure will not, because of what I just said, they won't discover it. And it's not because it's not available for discovery. It's just that people won't invest in that process, that journey of discovery. And we get off one fence only to hop on another one, only to hop off another. And that is evolution in our lives. We keep evolving and growing, but at stages in our lives, we're going to stay on certain fences because of, come a little closer, fear. We are afraid. We are afraid. We are afraid to evolve in an instance. I long got rid of the word success, because I felt like success is one of those things that success is one of those things that you're trying to get to a point. And I never want to just get to arrive at a point in my life. I want to continue to grow and evolve in my life. And so I don't use the word success anymore, but people are always evolving, and you should be. Like I detest hearing men and women talk about one another, and as it relates to relationships. Oh, he changed. Oh, she changed. They should change. Now, they should always be changing for the better, but who wants the same old person that they had when they first met them? So you have to evolve and grow. And again, I go back to, if you don't learn, you're never going to grow. And if you don't grow, you're never going to learn. And so you should always be on a stage of evolution, but you don't always have to stay on a fence. You don't have to, but so you have to learn how to apply what I call your why. Why are you afraid? Because the reason why you're afraid is why you're on that fence. The reason why you are on that fence is because of your uncertainty about something that you are looking to accomplish or conquest, But you stand on the fence is always due to you being afraid, and you have to discover why you're afraid. And when you discover that why, you'll no longer be on that fence.
Man, that is so true. That is so true. Oh my goodness. I had to discover why I was on the fence as coming out of corporate, and I knew about podcasting, but why are you afraid? Why do you say you lost your voice? Oh, I went through all of that. Hey, somebody better ask somebody.
What did you discover though? Like, why were you afraid? Why did you feel like you had lost your voice? Because you're talking now. So, your voice has never left you. However, it was what you told yourself mentally about your voice. It was the confidence or the lack thereof that you had. And well, who's going to listen to me? I'm old. I'm so-and-so age. And again, we talk ourselves out of opportunities because of how we feel. And it stems from what we were taught. You were taught probably eons ago about going to school, because if you don't go to school, you don't get a college degree, you can't get a good job. Well, you shouldn't want a good job. What you should want is a career, and that career may not lead you to college. I flunked out of college, ladies and gentlemen, but I have evolved in my career. I've evolved in my relationships. I've evolved in life, period. And I'm still growing and I'm still learning. And I feel like at this stage, I'm just getting started in some areas. Like, people think, oh, well, people don't know this about me. Years ago, like over a decade ago, I was at the pinnacle of my life. I mean, I had everything. I thought I had more money than I could ever spend, and I had a thriving career. I was on several tours. I mean, my phone could never stop ringing. But then I lost it all. I was homeless in Los Angeles. Like, how do you bounce back from that? again, it's about understanding who you are as a person. And so many people don't get to that point of understanding. They just believe what they've been told about themselves. And so that's why they don't function at optimal. That's why they barely are making it. They're barely getting through because they don't believe in who they are and what they can accomplish because of what they've been told and who they listen to. So you got to change the dial in your eardrum so you can hear things a lot more clearly, and more so start listening to positive affirmations about who you are. And most important, tell yourself things about yourself. I get up every day and I tell myself things about myself that I believe to be true. And guess what? They come true.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, talk about the bounce back.
The
Talk
bounce
about affirmations. Talking about sleepless in LA. I mean, doing the doggone thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I would be amiss if I didn't let you know that you are learning from a man who has he has he's award winning, one of Apple's top 200 podcasts that makes you laugh and think. Now, you know how many podcasts are over there on Apple?
that
He's
part.
one of Apple's top 200 podcasts. And he hasn't been doing this forever and a day. We're not talking about 80, 90, 100 years on the
No,
block, you know?
no. Let me
So,
tell you something funny about that, right? When you just said, do you know how many podcasts on Apple? When they contacted me about our podcast being in the top 200, which I think is it's now in the top 100, I didn't know. I didn't know how many podcasts were there until I was told. And I was like, wait a minute. You mean out of all these podcasts, it's like, what, 500,000 podcasts or something like
mhm.
that? We're in the top 200. You got to be kidding me, because most people probably don't know this because I don't talk about it much. But I started this podcast, Off the Fence with Finch, right at the top of the pandemic in 2020. And our goal was just to have conversations with people about a variety of topics and help them move from that place of uncertainty so they can get their ass off that fence. And what it has evolved into now is amazing to me. And it's so that's why I said I'm honored to be a part of this today, because first of all, let me just be clear. I didn't know it was International Podcast Day. I don't keep up with stuff like that. I just don't, because I'm just podcasting. I'm just getting on talking to people. But we now have a host of partners across the country, from Verizon to Facebook to we just got a new one this morning. And I'm so excited about the people that want to do business with us because of what we're doing. And I never realized how life-changing our conversations are, like the people that we have on, the conversation that we have. I just didn't know. It's stuff to me. It's like these are things that we all should be talking about at some point, because there's a host of people across the country, just like yourself, Margot, who just want to see people win, and you don't really care if you get anything in return. That is the mark, ladies and gentlemen, of someone who actually cares. Because in our society, we have a host of people who are all about themselves, and unfortunately, our parents taught us that. Our parents taught us to be selfish. And so we operate with a selfish. It's almost like we have a selfish quota. We got to see how many times we can be selfish in a day, and we take this into our careers. We take this into our relationships. We operate like this at home, and we have this in our money. Believe it or not, which is why our money doesn't grow, because we have this mentality of I got to hold on to all this money or the little money I do have, and we don't spread it into areas where it can grow for us. And it's one of those things where when you are looking to improve your life, you got to first identify the things in your life that are not helping you grow and the things that don't serve you. That could be family, that could be friends, that could be coworkers. It could be a host of things. You could be operating right now in the wrong career path because you're not passionate about it. And the thing that you really want to do, you don't see how you're going to make money in it. And that's the thing that's going to make you hundreds of millions of dollars. And so you got to start thinking differently if you want to start living differently.
What can I say? I am looking at the clock, and I tell you, textbook. This is college PhD level of learning. Apply what you just gave us. See, Finch, what you just gave us, people are going to have to listen again and again and again. They're going to have to ask for the transcript because this, I'm seriously, every once in a while I hear from a person that I trust and I know that the information that they have is tried, tested, and it is true. And if I follow it, I'm going to be all right. So
Yeah.
I have to thank you. I mean, see, conversations like that's why your show, you're going to be in the top 10. You're going to be one of the top shows. We talk about Joe Rogan, but you're about to knock him all the way off the
Oh,
block. Oh yeah,
oh
because these
man.
conversations, yes, indeed, you're on your way. Because these conversations, they are what people secretly, even if we don't say it, we are hungry to know about. How can I have a better relationship with my money? How can I have a better relationship with my man, with my mom? You know how many mother daughters have terrible relationships? Our relationships
Yeah.
are crap. We work all the time, or we never really knew how to have a good relationship. And I mean, it's just our careers. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in careers. Every day somebody's getting laid off. What do I do now? Oh,
Yeah.
that was my identity. Now, who am I? And all of that stuff. And life. Life is getting so deep, has been deep. It's just swallowing people up every day. And you cover these conversations. So, you know what? The number one spot, you about to go ahead and take it over, my man. Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate that. It's crazy because I never really think about being number one or being anything. I mean, I just want to have conversations that enhances people's lives. I want people to get the knowledge, and I think there's so many people out here we can learn from. And I learned so much from the guests that come on my show. And I know a lot of podcasters wish they had the problems we got. And what I mean by that is, like, our podcast was booked up between all year up until I think May of next year. And I had to cancel a lot of things because, one, we're producing some other stuff and it's taking time away. And at the end of the day, I'm like, man, we have all these conversations that have not even come out yet that we need to really produce and get out there first. And then we can start back having conversation. And plus, I think as a podcaster, when you not even as a podcast, as a person, when you invested into enhancing other people's lives, sometimes you neglect your own. And I feel like at this stage, I needed a break from podcasting, just for a little bit because I love it. But I didn't want to have to deal with the schedule of every week doing a recording a show and then having to produce a show and get a show out. And so we've taken a break from recording new shows because we have a library of shows you have not heard yet that we've been recording since last year. And so we're now rolling those out. We got a new show coming out today called What is Black? And it's talking about how we identify Black people. And it was such a great conversation because we have an assortment of African American men and women who are in this discussion and really just talking about what it's like to be Black. And so I hope you guys check that out. It's available. It will be available today on wherever podcasts are. Wherever you listen to podcasts, just go check it out and make sure you follow us. We love it.
Be sure to subscribe. That way it'll come up on your phone. You won't have to wonder, oh, did I miss an episode or anything like that? What is Black? Woo! I know that's going to run deep. Look for my subscription today. My. Oh, my goodness. I'm glad that you're taking a break because the world needs you. And people have come to rely upon you and your voice and on so many different levels. Maybe some people you will never meet, but I'm so glad that you're taking that break. Take care of yourself, take care of your team. And God, I thank you for this time. I really do. Doing nothing changes absolutely nothing, but doing something changes everything. We're talking about Finch.
Man. I got one more for you.
Oh, give it to me. Give it to me.
If you choke your potential before it has an opportunity to become a possibility, you'll never reach your destiny.
Oh.
And I'm gonna tell you why I say that, because
go ahead.
oftentimes we are choking who we aspire to be because we talk ourselves out of who we can become. And when we do that, we never ever experience the possibilities of all life has to offer us, all because of the negative thoughts we tell ourselves about ourselves. And we try to love everybody else but us. And the reason why we can't love us, because we don't understand what love actually is. It's not a feeling. It's not some ooh. But if you choke your potential before it has an opportunity to hatch into the possibilities, you'll never reach your destiny. Never.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to chew on that the rest of the day. When I go on my walk, I'll be replaying this, write it down, and I'll walk a while and I'll look back and I think, because I believe that when we hear golden nuggets like this, as Brother Bedford says, these are nuggets that you're giving us. Hey, Margot Levette here. I promised you good content coming from our hosted event from September, International Podcast Day 2022. So now, you've heard the audio. Go over, check out the video and all of the sponsors, the folks that help make this event possible. Video link is over in the show notes. Be sure to share it out. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think over on the video, or even during this. You could even leave a comment in the audio also. We want to hear from you. All right. So join us. We'll be back tomorrow with another conversation coming from our event, International Podcast Day 2022. We'll see you tomorrow.